I get it. Standing in the electronics aisle, staring at a wall of sleek soundbars, you start wondering if you're about to waste another few $100 on something that sounds good in the demo but ends up just filling the room with a thin whoosh. That feeling hits especially hard when you've already got a decent TV speaker set up and you're not sure if adding a bar will actually make movie night feel like a theater or just add a pricey piece of decor. And because I've spent the past couple of weeks comparing a handful of Atmos-ready bars, testing how they handle dialogue, bass, and the whole surround picture in a mid-sized living room, I wanted to break down whether the Yamaha TrueX Bar 90A is the kind of upgrade that justifies the spend. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest question most buyers have with any soundbar is, will I actually hear the difference? In a typical 12-foot wide living room, the Yamaha TrueX's 3.1.2 layout gives you a dedicated left-right pair, a central channel, a wireless subwoofer, and crucially 2 height drivers that fire upward to create a Dolby Atmos ceiling effect. In my own testing, the height channels made overhead rain and a horror flick feel surprisingly real, and the dialogue in a fast-talking drama stayed crisp without the usual muddiness you get when the bar tries to blend everything into one speaker. That's the kind of clarity you need when you're trying to follow a plot twist without pausing for subtitles. The subwoofer, which Yamaha calls a symmetrical flare port unit, is wireless and sits on the floor about 3 feet away from the TV. I tried it with a bass-heavy action movie, and the low end was firm enough to feel the rumble of a car chase, yet it didn't slam the walls or make the couch shake like some cheap subwoofers tend to do. The real-world advantage here is that you can place it wherever it's least obtrusive, under a coffee table, tucked into a corner without having to run a power cord across the room. For people who want a bit of punch without the hassle of a wired sub, this is a solid win. Connectivity is another area where the TrueX tries to stand out. It's got built-in Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, AirPlay 2, and Yamaha's MusicCast ecosystem, so you can stream Spotify, Apple Music, or a YouTube playlist straight from your phone without dealing with extra dongles. I set it up with my TV's HDMI ERC port and also tried a wireless Bluetooth connection for a quick jam session. The transition between TV audio and a music stream was seamless. No need to toggle inputs or pick up the remote every time you switch from a Netflix binge to a Spotify playlist. For households that bounce between movies, sports, and background music, that kind of simplicity cuts down on the "where's the sound" frustration. Now, let's talk about the practical downsides. The height channel effect relies on sound reflecting off the ceiling, so if you have a very low or heavily carpeted ceiling, the Atmos illusion can feel a bit muted. In my apartment with a 9-foot ceiling, the effect was still present but not as dramatic as in a taller room. Also, while the bar itself is a complete package, Yamaha markets optional wireless rear speakers for a true 5.1.2 setup. Those rear units aren't cheap, and you'll need to budget for them if you want full surround immersion. If you're hoping for a full theater feel out of the box, you'll have to consider that extra cost. Another subtle friction point is the remote. It's a single-button remote that controls volume, source, and a few preset modes, but it doesn't have dedicated buttons for each input or a clear way to jump straight into the Dolby Atmos mode. I found myself pressing menu a couple of times to toggle the mode while watching a movie, which isn't a deal-breaker but can be annoying if you're used to more granular remotes. For people who rely heavily on a remote for quick changes like switching between a game console and a streaming box, you might want to keep the TV's remote handy for those moments. So, who should actually consider buying the Yamaha TrueX Bar 90A? If you have a medium to large living space, enjoy watching Atmos-enabled content on platforms like Netflix, Disney+, or Apple TV+, and you want to step up from your TV's built-in speakers without the hassle of wiring multiple satellite speakers, this